You know, Back to the Future is one of those movies. It's an absolute classic, a blockbuster you've probably seen a dozen times. But what if I told you it was this close to being a total disaster? Well, that's exactly what we're going to get into today, the wild, behind-the-scenes story of a last-ditch gamble that saved this iconic film from being completely erased.
And you know what? He had every right to be terrified. Just imagine this. You get a call to star in a massive, multi-million-dollar movie that's already weeks into shooting. The entire production is now resting on your shoulders. For Michael J. Fox, that wasn't some crazy what-if scenario. Nope, that was literally his first day on the job.
It just sounds impossible, right? How on earth do you replace your main actor 6 weeks deep into filming? It's one of the riskiest moves in Hollywood history. And the reason they did it is because 6 weeks and millions of dollars in, the filmmakers had this creeping, horrible feeling that they were making the wrong movie entirely.
So, Section 1, thrown into the future. To really get a handle on just how much pressure he was under, we gotta start right where he did, dropped into the middle of a movie that was already full speed ahead, with absolutely no time to prepare. Picture this. He gets pulled off the set of his sitcom, Family Ties, and is driven straight to the mall parking lot for that iconic DeLorean scene. Zero rehearsals, no time to meet the cast and crew properly. Fox later said he was just running on pure adrenaline, trying to survive one night at a time.
Okay, Section 2, the wrong Marty McFly. So why? Why this crazy last-minute switch? Well, let's rewind a bit. Before Michael J. Fox, they had their Marty, a really talented actor named Eric Stoltz, but there was just one teensy-tiny fundamental problem.
See, Stoltz was playing the tragedy of it all. To him, Marty was this serious character, tragically cut off from his own time. It was a heavy, dramatic take. But the filmmakers, they were trying to make this fun, zany adventure comedy, and the two vibes were clashing, badly. It was like they were speaking two different languages.
And you could feel it on set, too. His co-star, Leah Thompson, who played Lorraine, said his super intense vibe just brought this heavy sadness to their scenes. It just wasn't what the movie was supposed to feel like.
So every night when director Robert Zemeckis would watch the footage from that day's shoot, his stomach just dropped. The laughs, they weren't there. That spark, that energetic curiosity that was supposed to be Marty McFly, totally missing. He was watching his passion project morph into something he didn't even recognize.
All right, Section 3, Hollywood's riskiest recast. This all led to a decision, a super secret, incredibly risky move that honestly could have just blown up the whole movie and taken a few careers down with it.
Think of it like a secret mission. While Eric Stoltz is on set filming scenes thinking he's the star of the movie, Zemeckis and Steven Spielberg are in the background pulling strings. They went back to the producer of Family Ties, who'd already said no once, and begged again for Michael J. Fox. This time, they got a yes. Then came the toughest part of all. Zemeckis had to actually go and fire his star, 5 weeks into filming.
The news hit the set like a bombshell. And just to give you an idea of how weird things were, when Christopher Lloyd was told Eric Stoltz was leaving, his honest-to-goodness reaction was, "Who's Eric?" Turns out Stoltz was so deep into his method acting that he made everyone on set call him Marty. And Christopher Lloyd, being the gem that he is, just went with it. He literally had no idea who Eric was.
Okay, Section 4, the impossible double life. So the switch is made. But now, all of that pressure lands squarely on the shoulders of Michael J. Fox, who is about to start one of the most brutal work schedules you can possibly imagine.
I mean, just take a look at this schedule. It's nuts. For months on end, this was his life. A full day shooting his TV show, then he'd get in a car, get driven across LA, and work all night on Back to the Future. He was getting what, maybe a few hours of sleep a night? If he was lucky. It was just an absolutely relentless pace.
And the crew on the movie set, they ran it like a military operation. They would have everything ready to go, lights, camera, everything, just waiting. And then the call would come over the walkie-talkies, like a countdown. Michael Fox is in the car, 45 minutes until arrival. They could not waste a single second of his time.
Fox himself called that nightly car ride his own personal twilight zone. Think about that. In that short drive, he had to completely switch gears, mentally shedding the conservative Alex P. Keaton from Family Ties to become the cool, kinda chaotic Marty McFly. Every single night.
So that brings us to Section 5, finding the film's heartbeat. And the thing is, the second he showed up on set, everything changed. It was like a light switch flipped. The whole vibe of the movie, the comedy, the energy, it all just clicked into place.
You can practically hear the collective sigh of relief in this quote from the co-writer Bob Gale. After all those weeks of worrying and stressing, boom, there he was, the Marty McFly they had written, right there in front of them. The gamble paid off, immediately.
And it wasn't just the writers and director either. The entire crew felt this shift. The cinematographer said it best, that with Michael J. Fox, the film just came to life. Fox's energy was just contagious. You could feel it in the air. Everybody suddenly knew, okay, we're making something really special here.
So what was his secret sauce? Why was he so perfect? Well, for starters, all those years on a sitcom meant his comedic timing was just razor sharp. He had this incredible physical energy. The chemistry with the other actors, especially Leah Thompson, was instant. And get this, he was great at improvising. That classic line, flux capacitor, fluxing, yeah, that was all him. Made it up on the spot.
All right, our last section, Section 6. One decision changes everything. Because that one huge, terrifyingly risky decision, it didn't just save the movie from being a dud, it turned it into this massive cultural icon that we're all still talking about decades later. And the proof? Well, it came at the very first test screening. An unbelievable 99% of the audience rated the movie either excellent or definitely recommend. A studio exec at the time said he'd never seen a score that high at Universal, ever. They knew, right then and there, they had caught lightning in a bottle.
And really, this quote from co-writer Bob Gale says it all, doesn't it? The movie we all know, the one we can quote by heart, it was living on a razor's edge. It was one brave, absolutely terrifying decision away from being a complete flop that nobody would remember today. Just one decision.
It kind of makes you think, right? How many of the classic movies we love were just one impossible choice away from being totally different or maybe not existing at all? It just goes to show you that so much of what we call movie magic isn't just what we see on screen. It's the crazy, invisible gambles that happen behind the camera, the ones that make it all possible.